If you're looking for a medical coding job, whether it's your first job or your fifth job, on-site or remote, full-time or part-time in the evenings, stick around because I have got some amazing tips to give you on how to find a medical coding job, and I'm actually going to walk you through some websites that are going to help you out as well. Hey everyone, I'm Victoria. I'm a medical coder, auditor, educator, national speaker. I have hired coders, I have worked with recruiting agencies, and today I'm going to give you my best tips on how to find a medical coding job. Today's video is sponsored by Harmony Healthcare. Harmony Healthcare is actively seeking coding professionals to help healthcare organizations across the nation achieve sustainable results in quality, compliance, and reimbursement. The team at Harmony understands the importance of accurate and complete coding in today's climate of value-based models. They also understand the value of that work and are ready to identify opportunities that fit your lifestyle and negotiate the best offer for you. From hospital coding positions to coding leadership positions, both remote and on-site, Harmony offers dynamic opportunities within a varied client base. Your personal career agent will help you secure industry-leading compensation, up to 3 weeks of paid vacation each year, comprehensive health benefits, and more. Click the link below to get started on your Team Harmony journey today. One of the first things you can do when you're looking for a job is make a listing of companies that you want to work for. If there's a hospital near you want to work for, if there's certain remote companies that you know offer good benefits, and just start making that list of the companies that you are interested in. And as you're looking at those organizations and the jobs that they might have available, really analyze what they're looking for in those job descriptions and see if there's things in there that you have that you can implement into your resume. So if it says they're looking for someone who can work in a dynamic, fast-paced environment and you're able to do that, make sure you speak to that in your resume or your cover letter. Go directly to those company websites and look at their job listings, because sometimes they have such an influx of people that might want to get in there that they don't take the time to post on other places. Or there might be a delay between when they post it on the website and when they post it on other websites, and you can get in faster if you're looking for it more actively. If you're brand new and don't know the names of some of the organizations that hire a lot of medical coders, like Harmony Healthcare, there's some websites you can look at to get an idea for that as well. There's a website you can use that is specifically for finding medical coding jobs, and it's called codersdirect.com. It's run by Mark and Rich, who I very coincidentally met at a chapter meeting a few years ago. I was having a speaker who was coming and knew Mark and Rich and was working with them on some different things and just kind of brought them along by surprise. At first, I didn't even recognize them. She introduced to them and was like, "Hey, do you know Mark and Rich?" And I'm like, I feel like I do. And I couldn't put my finger on where, but then I remembered I was connected with them on LinkedIn, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and recognized them from all the stuff they had been posting on LinkedIn. So very coincidentally, I got to meet Mark and Rich because they came to one of my chapter meetings and spoke with some of the other coders at the chapter meetings. We'll talk more about chapter meetings too as well. But first, let me get back into Coders Direct. This website is actually geared towards medical coders, billers, HIM professionals, revenue cycle professionals, and you can post your resume here for others to find you, or you can search for jobs. There is a great toolbar right down here that you can search by your location, and by location, that includes remote. So if you're just looking for remote work, you can select the remote selection in location, and you can go by your credentials. So if you're someone who's an apprentice coder, you only have your CPCA, you can narrow your search specifically for jobs that are looking for a CPCA or will accept a CPCA credential, and search through the directory. So there's lots of different postings. They update it constantly with different positions that are available across the nation. You can find on-site jobs near you, you can find remote work, you can find full-time, contract work, and even part-time medical coding positions. As you're scrolling through, take a look at some of those companies and see if they're ones that you want to add to your list of companies that you would like to work for. Once you start your account with Coders Direct, you can start getting their email blasts of all the different information they have available for coders, and they do have consultants and contractors, instructors that post on there as well of events that they're having or continuing education. So you can even find more information from their directory about services that you might be interested in. Another super popular website for job seekers is Indeed.com. Now, one of the things you can do with Indeed.com is narrow down your scope by your location Or you can even type in the word remote and it will help you find remote work. As far as key terms to put in here, if you have CPCA, you could type in CPCA or CPC. You could type in medical coder, and that will also bring in jobs that have medical coding in the title. Medical billing, revenue cycle, those are all terms that you can look at. And again, once you start seeing these postings and identifying good companies that you want to get in with, add those onto your listing. That way maybe you can circle back directly to their website and catch it on their website listing before it even forwards over to sites like Indeed. So just to show you, if I type in medical coder here, it will find jobs for me on medical coding. And actually, if you have an account, set up alerts and they'll start forwarding you some potential suggestions of positions. So you can see here we're coming up with inpatient coder, medical coder 1, outpatient medical coder, remote medical records specialist, medical coders work from home opportunities. And let's see what happens when I just type in here CPC. Okay, so this pop-up came up, so I could type in my email address if I'm looking specifically for CPC jobs. So we have lots of stuff that pulled up here that was maybe not medical coder titles though. So medical audit supervisor, certified professional coder, senior coding specialist, plastic surgery, 100% remote. Ooh. HEDIS Q&A, outpatient coding opportunity, credentialing specialist, work from home. That might be a good foot in the door position. Revenue integrity auditor. Now you can see it pulled up some things that maybe weren't necessarily relevant. Career coach, collections agencies. So just don't get distracted by those. Just keep scrolling past them and really looking at the coding jobs. And again, take note of the companies and things. Now it might get a little tedious as you're applying for different positions. Some of them will just want you to upload your whole resume and they're okay with that. Others, they want you to input all your prior work experience and information. I would suggest maybe having your resume on your screen and maybe splitting your screen or doing something where you can kind of copy and paste the information in so you're not having to retype it every single time. Now let's talk resumes. Resumes should be efficient, clear, to the point, error-free, and highlight your skills. They should be 1 to 2 pages long, ideally 1 page. If you need help getting your resume polished, there are websites out there like Project Resume that can help you really draw out some of your skills and make sure that they're reflected on your resume. I would suggest that if you're going to hire someone to do your resume professionally, make sure that they have all of the information they need, that they're really doing a deep dive and not just a cosmetic facelift. When it comes to cover letters, that's when it kind of gets interesting because according to a 2019 article from Thrive Global, only 10% of hiring managers actually even look at the cover letter. But 53% of hiring managers say that they expect to see a cover letter. So despite the fact that most people aren't even looking at them, they're still for some reason expected. I think it's a good idea to have one prepared if you're applying somewhere that specifically asks for a cover letter, but a lot of organizations now, they're just looking for your resume. That same article also said that approximately 80% of all jobs are actually found through networking. One of the best ways you can network as a medical coder is by getting involved in your local AHIMA or AAPC associations. AAPC has local chapters across the globe and they have a lot of virtual events now as well, and there are ways you can network through those virtual events. If you do things like turn your camera on, use the chat and say hi and say, hey, I'm Victoria, I'm a new medical coder, I'm looking for a position, does anyone have any ideas? You can even talk to your local chapter officers. They might be able to pull from their network if they know someone at the local hospital that knows there's going to be an opening soon. They might be able to direct you to some job openings they've seen recently. Some of them have Facebook groups or forums where they post jobs. So talk to your chapter officers. And actually, I had a viewer recently comment that the way she got her job was when she sat for her CPC exam, she asked the exam proctors if she passed her exam, if they would have any leads for her to get a coding job. And oftentimes the proctors of those coding certification exams are the chapter officers. And a big step up from that is actually serving as an officer yourself, because if you remember, my serving as an officer and coordinating the speakers was how I was able to meet Mark and Rich from Coders Direct. Plus, volunteering as a chapter officer is a great way to boost your resume because you can say things like, I helped coordinate the education activities of over 80 medical coders in our area. Or I helped find dynamic speakers to serve the hot industry needs of medical coders. Now let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a social media platform for connecting with other business professionals. I actually made a whole video on it right here that you can view. Basically, you set up a profile, put up all of your information. They have a little open to work icon that you can add on if you're looking for a new position. You can even change your title. It doesn't have to be that you're currently working at a packing plant or wherever you might be working if you're just starting out and haven't gotten into healthcare yet. So you can edit your profile to even just say things like your headline is Certified Professional Coder, which if you've passed your CPC exam is entirely true. You are a certified professional coder. You might not at the time be working as a coder, but you can change your title to indicate that you are someone who has passed your certification exam. Now with LinkedIn, you ideally want to connect with other people in your industry and recruiters so that they have job postings, they show up in your feed, and that they see you and that you're open to work. And understand that you don't have to connect with every single person on LinkedIn that sends you a request. If you're working in healthcare in San Francisco and someone sends you a connection request and they manage a fish hatchery in Montana, that's probably not someone you really need to connect with. For example, I recently got this connection request, and this person has nothing to do with the medical coding industry or healthcare at all. I let it sit in my box for a while and didn't approve it, and eventually he actually went on my profile, must have taken my email address out of it, and started adding me to his spammy mailing list. Now, I have friends in the life coach business who will connect with anyone because they have different opportunities that they can offer to a million different industries. But understand that if you're in medical coding, sometimes people will connect with you just because they want to chit chat. And if that's the case and you're not looking to chit chat on LinkedIn, feel free to disconnect from people, deny their requests, and delete their messages. Now, we've talked about where you can go and look for jobs, how you can apply to them, where you can post your resume, how to network, how to connect with people online. Now, the next thing is the interview, because you don't want to wait and find out at the last minute that you don't even have an outfit that's acceptable for an interview. Make sure that you're prepared ahead of time for interviews so that you're ready in case they want to interview you next day, that you have an outfit picked out, that if you're doing it virtually, you know where you have a good space and that's quiet, that you can do that interview. You can go on Google and search for top interview questions so that you have those responses prepared. You can also check out my mock interview video that you can practice with, and I also have a version where I show you some good responses and some not so good responses for common interview questions for medical coders. Final thoughts: be professional, be persistent, but don't get so emotional that you wind up making errors. Also consider things like contract work or part-time work so at least you start gaining some experience. If you're brand new and looking for some ways to get your foot in the door or alternative job suggestions, check out the video that I have on alternative jobs for medical coders. If you're applying to a ton of positions and don't want to waste your time reapplying to the same one because you can't remember if you applied already or if you didn't apply already, check the description below and I will have a link to a tracker that you can utilize to keep track of all the positions that you've applied for. I hope you found this video helpful and good luck on your job search. Don't forget to check that link below for Harmony Healthcare because they are looking for coding professionals. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe, and if you want, you can hit that notification bell so you can get alerts when I post new episodes. I will see you in the next episode, and until then, just keep on coding on.